Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 122 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
How's everybody doing out there? I hope you're all safe and warm. I know we've had some severe storms blowing through a good portion of the country.
Yeah.
And
it's been a little crazy around here.
Yeah, we got hit really hard a few days ago with a terrible windstorm.
Yeah, and it was all wind, like no real precipitation accompanying it. It was just wind upon wind upon wind.
Yeah, it was like up to, I think, 65-mile-an-hour gusts.
Something like that.
Which is crazy. We lost power for
most of a day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 11 hours or something like that it was out.
Yeah.
But we're safe and warm. And then we got the second blast, which was accompanied by snow.
Yes, but not nearly as much as was forecasted.
No. People north of us and more towards Buffalo, especially like the Lackawanna area.
Yeah.
Those of you in Lackawanna, you really got socked in.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, they got like a few feet or something.
But down here, right on the lakefront, we only got about 6 inches of snow.
Yeah.
So nothing that got in the way of travel or anything like that. And I have to say, today is an absolutely gorgeous day.
It's stunningly beautiful. The sun is shining. It is a balmy 21 degrees out right now.
But it's just so pretty. I mean, because it's like the snow is enough to make everything look lovely, but not so much that it's been deeply disturbed and it hasn't been made dirty and all of that. So it's just really lovely and white outside.
It is. It's really pretty. And it's been so mild this winter. This is like the first time we've gotten a significant amount of snow all winter.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, we had one kind of storm early.
Yeah, but
it was only a couple days. It didn't last.
No, it was like 2 days later. It was gone.
Exactly. It dropped some heavy snow, like maybe 6 or 8 inches, and then it was just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been lucky, I guess, that way so far.
Yeah, we really have.
Yeah. So I hope you are all also lucky and warm and safe wherever you are.
Absolutely.
Where you're listening from. What else has been up? What have you been up to?
This week has been remarkably chill.
Yeah.
We really have not left the house with the exception of yesterday's trip to the Lakeshore Humane Society.
Yeah.
To do our shift with kitties.
Our volunteer shift yesterday. That is really the only thing we've done outside of the house all week.
Yeah. Like before the snowstorm came in, we did an Instacart from Aldi to make sure we had some fresh veg because I had gone through most of the fresh veg.
Yeah. Sam will do that.
I will.
Yeah.
Give me cucumbers and radishes and sprouts. And
when she's home during the day, I'm kind of amazed at how many vegetables we go through, because I can buy groceries for a week. And if she's like working and I'm just using those vegetables for dinner and whatnot, they last quite, through the week. Yeah. No problem at all. If she's at home, it's like 2-3 days tops. Mm-hmm. And I have to
because I put them on bagels or I put them on top of noodles or I make a salad or I just have them with hummus. I love raw veg.
Yeah. So, it's always a reminder when you're home that I should buy more than I usually buy because you do tend to snack on vegetables, which I mean is good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That's great.
Yeah, I love them.
So, it's been kind of calm around here.
Yeah. Well, now that being said, as much as I like snacking on vegetables, we've also been snacking on some pretty serious sweets.
Yeah, the Christmas sweets.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and that brings up something I wanted to talk about. With the advent of S-Jack's candy going out of business, what kind of chocolates and candies and things like that did we stuff our stockings and then eventually stuff ourselves with?
First, the stocking gets stuffed.
Yeah. So what sort of things did we replace the S-Jack stuff with?
Well, I mean, even when S-Jack's was around, and of course, S-Jack's made my favorite little bites of chocolate. Those peanut butter crunch snow meeples were just ridiculous. And those, I'm very, very sad.
Yeah, those were my favorite.
That the meeples are no longer with us. But another one that we would kind of go to is a company called Go Max Go Sweets. Or I should say Go Max Go Foods. It's not specifically sweets.
Yeah, and that's the company that makes all the kind of like copycat
The copycat candy
bars, right?
Yeah. So our favorite, or I think our most consistently purchased anyway, of the Go Max Go candy bars is the Joker's bar. And that is their take on a Snickers.
Yeah.
And it is fabulous.
It's like a Snickers, like back in the day when the ingredients in Snickers were really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just fantastic. But the Joker's is not the only bar that they have. They also have the Thumbs Up, which is, I would say, it's kind of like their Butterfinger.
Yeah. Thumbs Up is a Butterfinger.
And then we have Cleo's Peanut Butter Cups. Mm-hmm. And the Cleo's Peanut Butter Cups, I believe, come in both milk chocolate and a white chocolate.
Yeah.
Then they have the Twofer. You can imagine what the Twofer might be.
Twofer? Oh, is it like a Twix
It's
bar?
like a Twix, yep. So you get a cookie bar with caramel coated in chocolate. Then you have the Snap bar, which is like a crackle.
Oh, like a Hershey's crackle?
Like a crackle, so crisped rice in rice milk chocolate.
I know they have one that's like a Three Musketeers.
That's the Buccaneer.
The Buccaneer.
Yes.
All the names are kind of insinuate.
They relate.
Yeah.
They insinuate, yes.
Yeah.
There's also the Twilight bar, which is similar to a Milky Way.
Oh, right.
Okay, so that's your nougat and caramel, but without the peanuts.
Yeah.
Then you have the Mahalo, which is coconut and almonds, so similar to an Almond Joy.
Yeah.
And finally, the Major, which is similar to a Heath bar, which is your kind of English toffee.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried that.
I love the Major bar.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I haven't tried that.
I love toffee.
I also got, Sam, from Avenue Sweets, some vegan caramels.
Oh, good heavens, were these good.
Yeah.
I'd never had these before, and the caramels that Christine got me were chocolate sea salt caramels. They were just ridiculous. The hit of salt just, I don't know, made both the chocolate and the caramel kind of pop. And they were super smooth, super creamy. Like they weren't the kind of caramel that gets stuck in your teeth.
Right.
You know, it was just really just chewy and delightful.
Yeah, I was able to try one and it was good.
Yeah. So those were awesome. And I do want to say, before we move on, I do want to say another thing about the Go Max Go chocolate bars.
Okay.
They are all gluten-free, no artificial ingredients, no hydrogenated oils or trans fats. They are 100% vegan. All of their ingredients are non-GMO. There is no corn syrup, and they are all cholesterol-free.
Yeah, so while it's still candy...
Oh, it most certainly is.
You can still rest easy that the ingredients that they use are of a high quality.
Yes, they are quality, clean ingredients.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had some of the usual things, the Cabbage Patch, which come in many.
Not Cabbage Patch, Sour Patch.
Right, not Cabbage Patch.
We didn't eat any Cabbage Patch anything.
Sour Patch, I'm sorry. They come in like so many varieties now.
They do. And actually, I did a little bit of a deep dive on Amazon to find unusual Sour Patch Kids.
Really?
Because, yes, they come in the regular variety pack, and then there's one, I can't even remember what it's called, but I found some different things.
Yeah.
I found their tropical variety pack.
Yeah.
Which might be my favorite. So the flavors were more like pineapple and passion fruit, and like those are my kind of fruit flavors.
Yeah.
Like I just absolutely love them. So those were fantastic. Then I found for you the peaches.
Yeah, the peaches ones were
the
good.
Sour Patch Peaches, and those, along with the grape Sour Patch Kids.
I haven't tried the grape yet.
Are both supposedly a little less sour.
Yeah.
Which is why I got them for Christine, because she doesn't like that
super sour,
that punch you in the face sour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I also found they had a lemonade assortment.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so I got one bag of those for Lucy, and I got one bag for myself, and the bag for myself is back in my knitting room.
Stashed away.
It's stashed, yes. And so those are like a strawberry lemonade, a peach lemonade, a raspberry lemonade, but they are super, super sour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're really good. Yeah. I like them.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on the candies that we had over the holidays.
Yeah.
Because there are some options out there.
Oh, gosh, there are plenty of options out there.
Yeah, and if you're in the Buffalo area, the vegan grocery store carries a lot of these brands. Mm-hmm. And on that note, I wanted to send out a huge congratulations to the Vegan Grocery Store in Tonawanda for being nominated in the Veg News Veggie Awards.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So if you're able to, or if you'd like to, you should reach out. I think you can still vote on the Veg News Veggie Awards, and it's fun. You can go through I don't know how many categories. There's a ton of different categories, and you can vote for your vegan favorites and all kinds of not just foods or stores, all kinds of different areas, even podcasts.
Yes.
If you feel free to write us in.
Oh, come on. No. This is not a plug. Absolutely not.
I'm teasing.
We were not nominated for the best vegan podcast category.
We were not nominated, but if you feel compelled to write us in, we wouldn't stop you. Anyway, congratulations to the Vegan Grocery Store for their well-deserved nomination in the Veg News Veggie Awards, and we definitely voted for them.
Yeah,
so.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love that.
Hey, that brings us to a recipe. We have a recipe this week.
Gotta love it when there's a recipe.
I always love when there's a recipe. So here is this week's Cookbook Challenge recipe of the week. This week, I made a recipe out of a book, full disclosure, that was sent to us for review. This is a book by Gwen Kenneally, and the book is called The Plantastic Cookbook. She's also author of The Inclusive Table and The Lotus Kitchen. And The Plantastic Cookbook is a lively and healthy plant-based recipe collection. And today, we made and ate not too long ago for lunch.
Yeah, just a couple hours ago.
We made her spicy peanut bun noodles.
Yes, and when Christine says we, she means she. Christine was in the kitchen cooking. I was doing a Zoom meeting.
It was the royal we.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so this is a cold spicy peanut noodle dish. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was really good.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was surprised because you corrected me. I initially thought that the noodles were soba noodles.
Yeah.
And they weren't. They were traditional spaghetti.
It calls for traditional spaghetti noodles or angel hair noodles, which kind of imitates or is similar to a vermicelli, which is the Asian noodle that would sometimes be used in a dish like this, but not always easily found in a grocery store.
Sure.
It's a rice noodle vermicelli.
Yeah.
And I thought the spaghetti noodles worked perfectly.
Oh, they were great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was just surprised to know that they were, a regular wheat spaghetti as opposed to, buckwheat soba noodles.
Yeah.
But it had edamame and carrot and radish and cucumber. So all of those things that I like putting on noodles anyway.
Yeah.
There they were. It was really delightful. The sauce was incredibly flavorful. Loved the hit of cilantro that was in there. That was absolutely great. The only thing for me, the sauce was like a tiny bit on the dry side, but you can get that with peanut butter.
Yeah, especially when
you get that with peanut.
I used the natural peanut butter.
Yeah.
I mean, you could add a little bit more oil. The recipe does call for some oil, and you could add a little bit more if you wanted more of a silky texture.
Right. And I don't think I would add that fat just to get a silkier texture on the sauce.
Yeah.
Because it really didn't take away from the dish.
No, not at all.
It was just something that I noticed, like on the first bite, I was like, oh, it's a little tiny bit dry, but it was really, really good.
I think part of that is the fact that you chill it after you make it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with natural.
Going to change things.
Yeah, especially with natural peanut butters. The peanut oil in the peanut butter will kind of seize up a little bit. So that might be what you were experiencing there. But I thought it was a really great recipe. It's simple, straightforward. There's no weird ingredients or anything. It's stuff that you will either already have in your pantry or you'll be able to easily find in your local grocery store. So I really enjoyed this recipe. And,
I did too.
And I would put this on rotation. And I thought it was funny that we were having a cold noodle dish on a 20-degree day.
That is kind of funny. Yeah, that is kind of funny.
It just sounded good to me. So
hey, roll with it. I have no complaints. I mean, come on, you put two of my favorite things, noodles and raw vegetables together,
right? And
I'm happy.
Looking forward to trying some more recipes out of Gwen's book here. And again, that book is The Plantastic Cookbook by Gwen Kenneally, and we'll have a link in the show notes if you want to reach out and get a copy for yourself.
And that brings us to our Noteworthy section. And this week, we're taking a look at the fact that the Body Shop has achieved the world's first Vegan Society certified product range.
Yeah, and I was pretty excited to read and hear about this because I used to love the Body Shop. They used to make those body butters in all those different really great scents. And I haven't had those in, the Satsuma.
Satsuma is the best.
Yeah. I haven't had those in forever. And now that I've heard about this, I might reach out and get some.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I actually haven't been using a lot of products of any kind for quite some time. I've gotten rid of shampoo and conditioner and body washes and all of those things because I'm trying to also reduce my use of plastic as much as possible. And so not buying those things. Like, I have such short hair that I really can get away with just using bar soap.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it's been really great. But it is really, really cool to hear that the Body Shop has, because some of their scents are just so fabulous. Like I said, the Satsuma is iconic.
Yeah.
It's that beautiful citrus smell that
orange.
You can't avoid.
Yeah.
Like when you're walking by a Body Shop, it just kind of draws you in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So according to Stuart Stone at GreenBiz, the company is the first global beauty brand to feature fully Vegan Society certified skincare, body care, hair care, makeup, and fragrance products. The Body Shop has revealed that it has achieved 100% vegan product formulations across all ranges, and the retailer's entire portfolio, spanning more than 4,000 ingredients, has been validated by the Vegan Society, meaning that more than 1,000 Body Shop products will carry the organization's vegan trademark.
This is fantastic, and I hope that more companies seek this certification.
I think it's amazing.
You know?
Yes.
Because I would love to see more products on the shelf that have the Vegan Society certification on it.
Absolutely. The beauty retailer, which operates around 2,500 locations worldwide, has achieved a target that they set for themselves in 2021 when 60% of its products were Vegan Society approved. So let's just think about that. 2 years ago, essentially, because we're not very far into 2024.
Right.
2 years ago, only 60% of its products were Vegan Society approved. They went from 60% to 100% in 2 years.
Yeah. Kudos to them.
Phenomenal.
Kudos, Body Shop.
Just to show that something like that is achievable in that short period of time, I think it's really quite phenomenal.
That they cared enough to achieve it.
Well, I mean, the CEO of the Body Shop, Ian Bickley, said that they are the first beauty company to fight against animal testing in cosmetics. And I actually remember that.
Yeah.
When the Body Shop became a thing back in the early 90s, I want to say.
That sounds about right.
I really liked the fact that, you know, on their store windows and all of that, they actively mentioned that they were against animal testing.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really great. And they were also the first major global beauty brand to use cruelty-free musk in their fragrances. And they have obviously now achieved another global first.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And just so you know a little bit about the Vegan Society's vegan trademark, it is widely recognized as the global standard for vegan products, helping users identify that more than 65,000 certified products free from animal ingredients and animal testing.
That's really great. Mm-hmm. Go Body Shop.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fabulous. And I do hope that more cosmetic companies follow suit, because while some may have trouble, you know, eliminating animal products from their diet, or they may feel that that's a really big challenge, I do feel like people will gravitate towards cosmetics and toiletries and things like that that are animal product free if they're available.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's an easier choice to make for a lot of people for some reason.
I agree. You're probably right there. And yeah, I would assume that people walking down a store aisle, if something like that jumped out at them, they would probably consider that product more than they would a product sitting next to it that doesn't have that big certification on it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, so I just really appreciate both the certification and the fact that the Body Shop has put the effort and energy into getting there.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool.
Me too. That brings us to our main topic. And in this week's main topic, we're going to review a couple of documentary and docu-series that are airing on Netflix right now and ask the question, are they vegan? Are they not vegan films? Among other things. Anyway, and the first one that we wanted to review was a docu-series that's on Netflix right now that's called You Are What You Eat.
Everybody knows the average American diet is not very healthy. We sometimes call it SAD for sad.
People don't realize that what we put in our mouths is more important than anything else.
Your dietary pattern can change your biology in a profound way.
It's a game changer.
I've tested many diets over the years looking for the healthiest ones. A major challenge in nutrition studies is everyone is unique and responds differently to the same food. So what if we got people who are genetically the same?
Just like us. Twins share the same DNA, so we get to see if it's about your greens, not your genes.
A twin experiment.
Yeah, You Are What You Eat, a twin experiment is 2024, and they're here on their wiki. It says it's an American vegan documentary series. So right there on their wiki. So it has to be true.
Well, okay, that's funny. But I don't know that I would call it a vegan documentary series.
No.
I think it is a vegan positive documentary series.
Definitely.
But I would not call it vegan because they're looking at 22 sets of identical twins.
Right.
And during their 8-week study, one half of each pair is
Right.
following a vegan diet and the other is following an omnivore diet.
Right.
So since half of their participants
Are eating a carnivore diet.
are actively consuming animal
Yeah.
products, I don't think we can call the documentary itself vegan.
Probably not.
However, they were throughout the docuseries, and I was surprised by this. Not only did the results of the study unsurprisingly show that the vegan diet was more healthful,
Oh, yeah.
but also throughout the docuseries, we got, kind of the usual suspects popping in and telling us how detrimental eating meat and dairy is to human health, how detrimental it is to the environment. And so I thought that was a really surprising component that I really appreciated. I thought we were just going to be looking at these pairs of twins and the differences in their journeys through this 8-week study.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. They definitely sprinkled in information about animals and animal agriculture, environmental impacts of eating animals, and a number of other educational things that didn't have anything to do with their twin study. So yeah, that surprised me.
Now, according to the leader of the study, the twins on the vegan diet had a 10 to 15% drop in LDL cholesterol, a 25% drop in insulin levels, and a 3% drop in body weight in just 8 weeks, all by eating real food. Note, real food. In both the vegan and the omnivore diets, the food was largely whole food. There were not a lot of commercial meat replacers.
Right.
It was focused on whole foods. But just to show that that kind of change is possible in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, I think they were surprised by the findings. So one of the things they were particularly surprised by was how a vegan diet affected people's telomeres, which are a thing in your DNA that indicates lifespan.
Yeah. They're actually caps, essentially, on the ends of your chromosomes within your DNA. And as we get older and as we expose our genetic material to, the many, many toxins, I suppose the word I'm going to use, in the world, those telomeres shrink.
Yeah, over time.
But in the twins who were on the vegan diet, they actually found that not only did the telomeres stay exactly the way that they had started.
Yeah.
But that the twins who were on the non-vegan diet, their telomeres visibly shrunk in just 8 weeks.
Yep.
So it's actually showing that just by consuming a vegan diet, you can actually increase your lifespan, because these telomeres relate to genetic age or physical age as opposed to chronological age.
Right.
It is possible, given the state of your telomeres, to be younger than your chronological age.
Yeah, they found after the 8 weeks that the twin that was on the whole food plant-based diet had a 10% growth
in the telomeres,
in those caps on their telomeres.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. That was pretty weird.
It was pretty, and I don't think it was weird. I think it was awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was information that I had never uncovered before.
I know, and we've seen a lot of things about eating vegan.
We have.
So, yeah, that was a wonderful surprise.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah.
So, You Are What You Eat, A Twin Experiment is a 4-episode docuseries that is currently available on Netflix. We highly recommend it. It is very accessible. It is entertaining. There's a lot of good information there. And the complete findings at the end are really worth watching.
Yeah, it's really entertaining and informative at the end to watch them go through all of the different factors that they were experimenting on. And then one of because they had 22 twins, but they only really focused on 4 sets of twins.
4 sets, yeah.
And one of the 4 sets of twins was actually 2 boys from Buffalo.
They were.
2 young men from Buffalo.
2 young men from Buffalo, which was super cool.
Yeah. They were super cool.
They were.
And I thought the interesting thing is both of them went into it with like no body fat to begin with. They were both very lean.
Very lean.
Yeah. But they gained, the one on the whole food plant-based, he gained muscle mass.
He did.
And yeah, it was, I don't know, really good. Check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. And then the second documentary that is currently airing on Netflix that we wanted to talk about is called Live to 100, Secrets of the Blue Zone.
What's the best tea to drink on a daily basis?
Wine.
I like the way you roll. I have found that most of what people think lead to a long, healthy life is misguided or just plain wrong. What if we could reverse engineer longevity? I spent the last 20 years trying to do just that.
And I really loved this. I thought it was visually stunning. I loved that the host, Dan Butner, spent so much time just talking with people who live in the identified blue zones all over the world.
Yeah, he's been working on this project since the early 2000s, and he's been collaborating with National Geographic to document everything that he's been finding.
Right. And so this was a 5-episode series, I believe, and took a look at the communities in Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Ikaria, Greece, Nicoya, Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, California, which are places identified as blue zones. Blue zones are places in the world that have the highest rates of living centenarians.
Yeah.
So these are the longest lived communities in the world.
Yeah. And I mean, right from the get-go, I will say this is not a vegan documentary.
It's not intended that way.
Yeah.
No, it's looking at longevity more holistically than just looking at it from a dietary standpoint. But through his research, he very clearly found that one of the central tenets of all 5 of these blue zones was a plant-based diet.
Right.
Meat, if consumed at all, was consumed very infrequently.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely something to keep in mind. But he also identified things such as moving naturally, not necessarily going out and, hitting the gym, but making sure that you are moving consistently in a natural way. Definitely talked a lot about kind of community groups.
Yeah, I found that really interesting. And I mean, not surprising. Interesting, but not surprising that all of the blue zones that he was talking about, these people have really strong community bonds.
Yes. And
families that live with them or friends that are close to them that they see and interact with daily. And that was the one thing that they all had in common.
Well, I would disagree with the one thing, because what I also found to be very common in all 5 groups was the idea of a sense of purpose.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
That in every community, the one that amazed me the most, I think, was in Costa Rica, the 96-year-old cowboy.
I know, right? He looked like he was maybe 60.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, there was no way.
He's like chopping wood.
He's chopping wood,
Yeah.
and he's bringing in the sheep and all of this kind of stuff. Like, just absolutely amazing. But that it's a sense of purpose also that keeps us going. If we feel like we lose our sense of purpose, then we're going to age faster.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
I agree completely. So I absolutely loved that. And then also there was a really strong connection to some form of spirituality, not necessarily religion, but a connection to a bigger picture.
Okay.
I felt like.
Yeah.
Whether that presented itself as religion. For example, I know one of the women who was interviewed in Italy said that, she walked the many, many, many steps to church every morning,
right?
And then walked the many, many steps back.
Yeah.
And this is a very elderly woman, at least in her late 80s.
Yeah.
And so having that sense of, like I said, not necessarily religion, but a faith and spirituality of some kind that I thought was really quite wonderful.
Yeah. And a lot of these groups live in areas where it's hilly.
Yeah.
Where to get places, they have to walk a lot of steps. There's a lot of stairs and steps.
That was especially true in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super cool.
So they're just in their daily life, they're getting, like he was saying, this natural exercise.
Yeah.
That you're not purposefully exercising, you're just living your life. And while you're living your life, you're getting enough physical activity to keep you
healthy,
fit.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the Italy episode, they mentioned that there was actually a study done that showed the higher altitude your home was, the more likely you were to live longer.
Right.
And I just thought that's pretty fabulous.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, not surprising.
No, not at all. But just really, really wonderful. The one thing that did make me a little bit sad about this series is that it was mentioned at the end that in some cases, particularly in Okinawa and of course, in California, that the encroachment of the standard American diet and the demand for meat and dairy having become greater in past years is actually, like, you can see a reduction in the lifespans of Okinawans in the past decade.
Yeah, because of the influence of the Western diet and Western culture.
Yeah. And so that I think is truly, truly unfortunate. And so, I hope that they manage to hang on to the practices that have been just so deeply rooted in their community, but also that have been so effective in allowing their people to live long and healthy lives. Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend this documentary series along with the You Are What You Eat series.
They're actually a really good, I feel like they pair together very, very well.
They complemented each other well. The cinematography and everything in the Blue Zone special is fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Not surprising since he has hooked up with the National Geographic. So he's probably got some of the very best cinematographers working with him. But the stories that they told and the people that they talked to, it was a really fun ride,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really was. So I also would highly recommend
both.
Yeah. Oh, I would highly recommend both. Absolutely. I mean, I think we watched them back to back over 2 days.
We did. Yeah, so check them out. If you've seen them, let us know what your thoughts are on either or both of those docuseries. And if you haven't checked it out, check them out. That brings us to this week's helpful fact to encourage you to go vegan and stay vegan.
This week's helpful fact comes from Mercy for Animals, and that fact is that pigs rival human toddlers in intelligence. A 2015 study by researchers at Emory University discovered that pigs are smarter than dogs and can solve problems just as well as chimpanzees. Thanks to their excellent long-term memories, pigs also tend to be skilled at puzzles and certain video games. Pigs love to play and mock fight just like dogs or cats, as we saw yesterday in the shelter. Two of our favorite tabbies were having a little wrestling match.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's always fun to watch.
And pigs are also capable of learning from each other. Pigs have even shown that they feel empathy and can comprehend a simple symbolic language. IQ tests reveal that pigs are smarter than human toddlers, yet the average meat-eating American will eat 27 pigs in their lifetime.
Yeah, and Mercy for the Animal says, be proud that you are not one of those people if you're vegan.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would argue that pigs are probably smarter than some adults.
Now. See, I left the line about be proud that you're not one of those people out intentionally.
Oh,
I was trying not to be judgy.
Oh, I wasn't being judgy. It's Mercy for the Animal said that. Be proud that you're not one of those people if you're vegan. It's something...
but they don't say if you're not vegan. I mean, or if you're vegan.
No, they don't.
They just say be proud that you're not one of those people.
And I thought that was snarky.
I don't like those people. Like, I feel like those people is snarky.
I agree. That was snarky.
And you don't have to edit this out. We can have this argument.
All right, let's keep it.
Yeah. So I think be proud that you make an alternative choice, or be proud that, you know, absolutely. But those people, I don't like anyone being referred to as those people.
I agree.
Don't care who they are.
It was poorly written.
It was poorly written.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know if you've ever seen pigs that are not being held captive or not doomed to be slaughtered. They are just like dogs. They do act just like dogs. And so do cows. It's so funny how cows will chase a big ball and play with each other and wrestle, given the opportunity to live their lives the way they were meant to live them.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the calendar that's in our kitchen right now,
yeah,
you know, our 2024 wall calendar is from Farm Sanctuary. The picture right now is of this mud-covered, sun-baked pig.
Yeah.
And he just looks so happy.
Yeah, he's smiling
he's
and happy.
Smiling and sleeping at the same time, and he just looks so happy. And every time I walk by it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is just one happy pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love seeing it.
That brings us to this week's favorite part of our show.
Hey, must be listener shout-out time.
It's listener shout-out.
I'm so psyched that there is a listener shout-out.
Just want to give a shout-out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
There is, and this week's it's a twofer.
Hey, a twofer.
It's a twofer.
Is this our first twofer?
This is our very first twofer listener shout-out.
All right, well, that goes to Wes and Matthew, hosts of How I Vegan podcast. If you're looking for another vegan podcast to listen to, Wes and Matthew, who are UK-based hosts of the How I Vegan podcast, offer a great option. With their interesting guests and their entertaining banner, they make learning about veganism a fun time. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, check out How I Vegan podcast. And thanks for listening, Wes and Matthew. We were supposed to meet up with Matthew when we were in London, but it didn't work out.
It was my fault. I got sick.
Yeah.
That was the day that I was useless.
Yeah. Hey, and contact us with your t-shirt size and your address or addresses so we can send you a CNC swag bag.
Now, if you out there would like a listener shout out, please email or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can do that by emailing us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or by DMing Christine on Instagram or Facebook.
What's this week's Vegan Org of the Week?
This week, we've got Vegan Action. Vegan Action is a Virginia-based organization that facilitates vegan product certification, vegan education, and outreach. They are a 501c3 nonprofit that works to eliminate animal suffering, reduce environmental impact, and improve human health through veganism. To learn more about them, you can go to vegan.org.
How cool are they that they managed to get that URL, vegan.org? It's just vegan.org.
Yeah.
Love it.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's time to wrap this baby up. So I'm gonna wrap it up.
Go for it.
Yeah, and as usual, in our wrap up, we always encourage you to join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub and support the Agriculture Fairness Alliance in any way that you can. They lobby in D.C. on our behalf so that our vegan voices are heard. And if you want to be included in that conversation, join the Vegan Voter Hub. The link is always in our show notes.
And with that, it's time to sign off.
Sign off.
You have just listened to episode 122 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion, on the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
Hey, we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.